Can you tell us about Car World?
Yes. So, Car World refers to a planet in another universe where I was abducted to, and I lived there for 10 years, where I was the king for half of the time there. And then I was exiled from North America by Carix, and I traveled around the rest of the world, meeting other people, and then I was sent back to Earth. And then I started telling people my experience of being on that planet. And people believed me, and we started out teaching some classes, and it gained momentum because we were having a lot of fun doing it. And then I fell in love with a girl, and I asked her to play Carix, my wife, the Worm Queen who I had sex with, who was my wife in Car World. I asked her to play that character for me, and she did. And we were dating, and it was wonderful. And it grew and grew, and we developed communities in different cities. We had a large Car World Los Angeles branch that my current roommate, Will Duncan, was the leader of. He moved to New York to study with me in 2023. We had grown the organization to be about 565 members, and you became a member by donating money to me and then making this lifelong commitment that we would know each other forever. It was to establish permanence within the community. So many people only know each other briefly, or it's like, okay, we meet each other. If you're not a member of Car World, maybe we'll never see each other again, or we'll never talk to each other again. But with Car World, you give me your phone number and I'll always have it, and you'll always be a part of me.
Even if you switch phones?
Well, I guess you could switch phones or block me, and I can't do much about that. But it was something where people would like leave the group chat, and I put them back in, and then later they'd thank me for that because, oh man, I was feeling like I needed to leave, but you didn't let me leave, and I really appreciate that. We had a big gala for a cinematic origin film we made called Enter Car World. That was about my first encounter with Carix. We had suppers, which celebrate, it's sort of like a Jewish Seder dinner, where we read from a book called the Car World Supper Book that was about the 10 different beasts that sucked me off 10 different ways in Car World. And then we had a medallion that represented each one and a story about each event. It was a really thriving, beautiful community, and a lot of people found friends through coming to Car World gatherings. And then they'd make friends of people they didn't know, and then they'd continue. Some people dated from that. Some people met each other and they met their partner there. And it was really, I feel like, such a beautiful community. But halfway through our last big gathering in 2023, Carix the Sex Ride, which was sort of like a Disney World style, or Disneyland style ride where people could pretend to be me. And it starts with them getting locked in a freezer. And then they are pushed out of the freezer with an audio track, and they're blindfolded, and they're led through this soundscape into a car that was parked in a garage. And we had people on the side of the cars spinning a tapestry to make it look like it was driving, and then they started shaking the car. We had a big 10-person crew for this. And then a projection onto the windshield to show that it's driving, and then a soundscape that they would listen to, and then a big animatronic Carix that we built would come and slam down into the car to start phasing into it, which is how I had sex with Carix on October 14th, 2018. And then Caroline Yost, my ex-fiance, came around the car dressed as Carix, and then would engage with the driver, who was me, through the windshield and have sex with them using words and moaning and making it a personal, sort of improvised to the person's unique needs sexual experience. And I was in the back seat of the car in a black morph suit with a Hitachi wand vibrator in my hand that I would use to like rub their genitals while they were having sex with Caroline. And people could either pay $20 for the love ride, which I would not touch their erogenous zones, or they could pay $40 for the sex ride, which is them consenting to and wanting me to touch their genitals. And a lot of people chose the love ride or the sex ride with the $40 genital experience because it was more interesting. But that was a 6-night run with 48 different guests, different periods. And halfway through that experience of that ride, 3 days in, unrelated to the ride, it was because our relationship had been deteriorating and I committed a crime in her parents' hometown that ended up getting me banned from there. Caroline broke up with me. So I had to, but she didn't quit the show. So I had to continue having that sexual experience with people pretending to be me, and her having, she's moaning my name, and I'm in the back seat rubbing their genitals, just crying in a black morph suit. And it was the most nightmare experience I've ever created for myself.
And how do you think that emotionally impacted you? How do you think that emotionally?
Is it funny?
No. I just can't believe that this is your life.
It was emotionally really traumatizing. If we had just ended it there and not done any more of the ride, it would have been something where I could have just disassociated and tried to forget it as much as I could. But the fact that we had to keep doing this fantasy that I had created where someone pretends to be me, having sex with Carx, played by Caroline, and I'm in the back seat, massaging their genitals, it was just a visceral nightmare. And I get, like, closing my eyes, I can really, because I was also wearing the morph suit, so it was dark.
Yeah.
So it really feels like hell on earth. But I do commend her for finishing the ride and the whole crew for continuing. The vibes got really dark in that studio. We didn't tell everyone that we broke up, but the tension was sucked out of the room, something was wrong. Again, I'd just like to say on camera, we did not break up because of Carx, the sex ride. Carx, the sex ride was in fact the only thing keeping us still together at that point.